called as chairman of this commission by then acting President, Senator Hamilton. I remember that occasion with great pleasure because we both give mutual assurances of helping one another to look after the safety of the national community. Thank you very much, Senator. But more than that, my heart is also gratified to recall that when we had issues in transforming our offices from Queen Street to where we are now, it was to Senator Hamilton that I turned for assistance. And he was ready to put us in a place, except by that time we had gotten provision here. So thank you again for your willingness to give us your support at all times. I want to thank the ministries as well, the Ministry of Housing and the Ministry of Public Administration, in addition to the offices of the DPA, for helping to facilitate this relocation. In particular, among the staff members who have been very patient with what they experienced in Queen Street, and for having the patience as well to have ourselves resettled here with the refurbishing required. I want to express on behalf of the Commission, members of the Secretariat, our deepest appreciation. In particular, Dr. Kerry Sumesa Rai has been very committed and dedicated in helping me to face the challenges that we have faced in relocating here. I could just sum it up briefly on this occasion by telling you it was not an easy exercise. As you would know, in the bureaucracy, that is no fault of any one particular person, but in relocation, a physical building, an office, it does take some courage. And Dr. Raya has exhibited that courage. And I want to thank him publicly for that support. Ladies and gentlemen, the commissioners who were here, Dr. Armstrong and Ms. Saini, Achat Saini, and also a previous commissioner, Mr. Kenneth Parker. There's Mr. Parker. Mr. Parker, also Ms. Jackie Cheeseman, who was in the previous commission, they have lent, in the past commission, tremendous support to me as chairman. In the current commission, Ms. Dr. Armstrong and Ms. Achat Saini continue that tradition. Thank you all very much for the support I have been receiving. It is important to let the national community know, because our constitutional mandate requires us to do so, some measure of public accountability. We want the public to know that since we have moved here, and even before that, we have undertaken a number of projects in our national service. Dr. Ryan and his staff and members of the commission have moved around the country, several meetings with the stakeholders, members of the community, to find out what their concerns are and what suggestions they would have to help us improve the work of Commissioner Williams and his executive and the entire police service. So we have taken those suggestions sometimes, and when we do meet, as we do meet with Commissioner Williams and his executive, we present those concerns to them with the hope that they will be materialized into some positive action. We did several surveys, nationwide surveys, in service with the police service. We have surveyed the executive of the police service. We have surveyed the constables, the sergeants, and the corporals in the police service. All these exercises are designed to gather information and evidence, so when we present our concerns to the commissioner, it will be in the form of helpful suggestions. Because in the end of it all, we have to keep in mind that our purpose is not merely to appraise and to examine and to instruct, but our purpose as a Police Service Commission is to work together with the police service and all key stakeholders to make this country, to make its peoples and its institutions a safer place for all. We are going to Tobago within the next 2 or 3 weeks in April to meet the stakeholders in a similar way and with a similar purpose. Through the kind cooperation of Commissioner Williams, we are visiting several police stations across the country, that is the Police Service Commission, and some members of the Secretariat to get a first-hand view of how a police station operates or how it should operate. And that is also another step in our data gathering exercise. So when we do make pronouncements or when we do produce the required documentation, it will be based on the evidence that we have gathered over the period stipulated. More than that, ladies and gentlemen, we have not been satisfied with what you call the recruitment process for a commissioner of police. We recognize there is widespread public anxiety in that regard, but once again, we want to give the national community, that is the Police Service Commission, we have done all that we are empowered to do within the Constitution. Within the Constitution, that could alleviate this challenge. The challenge really is that it takes too long, the process is too convoluted. Many different people have described it in different language. The process for recruiting a commissioner of police has been described as a bureaucratic nightmare, a bureaucratic monstrosity, a tangled web, a bureaucratic nightmare. And that has come from experience. It may not be the intention of the framers of the constitutional framework at that time, in the years 2003, 4, 5, and 6, and so on. But by evidence, because at present, we still don't have a list before us to select a police commissioner or deputy police commissioners. Because it's the DPO office, through the Constitution, through legal notices, legal notice 102, 103, and 101, combined, invoke a process that is really cumbersome. That is, we haven't been able to hire a firm yet. And when I say we, I mean the Director of Personnel Administration. We can't do it. We are not constitutionally empowered to do so. Advertising for a firm that will then advertise for applications for police commissioner and a deputy commissioner, that hasn't started yet. And we wish to point out to the anxious public that it's now 18 months since the last commissioner of police and deputy commissioner of police resigned. So that process is obviously flawed, and we are pressing upon the authorities to help expedite a new process. A new process has been put forward by what is called a review team. That review team has been established by the joint agreement between the then Police Service Commission and the Prime Minister, Attorney General, Ministry of National Security, and the entire cabinet. Briefly, the review team proposed, we had submitted the report, the review team proposed a more expeditious, time-saving, more effective manner of recruiting a police commissioner. It certainly is not comfortable to have an officer acting for the period during which this particular acting commissioner and his deputies have been acting. National security demands a more serious approach to such a challenge. We are aware that the Attorney General, in whose hands the review team proposals lie, he is making effort to expedite the process. We wish that he, together with the Minister of National Security, would facilitate that required expeditiousness. I bring this to your attention because time and time again, the Police Service Commission has had to correct certain misguided allegations. That is, in particular, that the Police Service Commission is delaying the appointment of a Commissioner of Police and a Deputy Commissioner of Police. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not so. As I have just tried briefly to outline to you, we are waiting on that list to be submitted to us by the firm that should be hired to look after the applications and vetting them, and when that list comes to us, we also review the list and send our selected nominee through the President to Parliament. And Parliament will then deliberate, say yes or no to that nominee, and the process might have to be repeated if Parliament disagrees. So we want to clear up all of these intricacies, unnecessary intricacies, and have a cleaner, more expeditious, transparent, and effective system. So we bring this assurance to the national community, and we want to also let the public know that whilst there is an acting commissioner, it doesn't mean to say that the appraisal process is stopped. We continue to appraise the acting police commissioner. He knows that. He has been very collaborative with us in presenting his information, coming to our meetings, and we have asked him for explanations where we find there are certain deficits. It doesn't mean to say that we have been idle, as I pointed out to you just now. Whether a commissioner or a deputy commissioner is acting or not, the Police Service Commission continues its constitutional mandate in the same way. For example, we are keeping an eye in terms of police accountability on the robbery with the security van along the highway. The cash that was put under the charge of a security company. We are also keeping an eye on what is called the $600 million drug bust. We are also keeping an eye on the recent bank robbery in Santa Grande to see the extent to which the police are taking an active part in investigating those incidents and coming to a fair, reasonable conclusion. That is part of our job. Our job is to appraise, monitor the work of the police commissioner, his deputies, and of course, we understand that investigating such incidents are very challenging. But our duty is, ladies and gentlemen, is to keep an eye on what affects the public interest in those particular respects. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, I want to express on behalf of the Police Service Commission our appreciation for the way, especially due to recent statistics, that this acting commissioner and his executive have been handling the matter of national security. There are positive signs from their performance, and we wish that such positive signs grow even more in the near future. The country depends on you, the country depends on us, and as I said before, together we are determined to make this country a safer place for all of us. So thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman, for your report. Very good, detailed report. President of the Senate, Senator the Honorable Timothy Hamel-Smith, I now invite you, sir, to give your remarks. Afterwards, some of us will accompany you outside to cut the ribbon.
Good morning to all you gathered here today. And all protocols having been duly honored and observed, I will not repeat them. This morning, I think it's a special morning. It's a special morning, not simply because we are about to officially open the premises, the new premises for the Police Service Commission, but it is special for a much larger reason than that. It is special because this morning brings us hope and comfort that we will soon have a country which is safe and secure. The Public Service Commission, together with the other arms that constitute the criminal justice system, are pivotal to bringing and making the citizens of this country safe.